Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Pseudo's Crochet and More. This is your host Crystal. I am behind the scenes today because I'm bringing you a stitch tutorial. I'm calling this the Tipsy stitch. It could be also known as the ripple stitch, not in the sense that you know it by, but this is it worked up in a solid. This is a very easy one row repeat after the foundation row. And I'll do a couple repeats with you. This one I did 11 rows on. This was using a 4-weight yarn, 100% acrylic. And then I did it again in a variegated. Now this was a DK. I did the same stitch multiple. The starting chain is the same, but again, it is a DK, so it is smaller. That's how much smaller it is compared to the acrylic. Now you can use whatever size weight of yarn you want. You can use this. This would be great for a blanket, probably a scarf if you used a bigger hook, so it's drapey. Or you could use it in a hat. It's player's choice. That's my new saying on the channel. Player's choice. However you want to use this stitch is up to you. I think it would look great in a blanket. Let me see if I can get that a little bit more focused. It's easier to see with the multiple colors than it is with the solid colors. So I used the same hook too on both of these, which was a 5 millimeter crochet hook. I know it's kind of wearing off there, but this is from the Nice Met company. This is like my go-to hook now. I'm thinking about actually ordering a second set. As long as it's in stock, because I know at one point this was actually out of stock, this set particularly. It was back in stock the last time I looked, but if you like inline hooks, this is not very heavy. It's very lightweight. The only downside that I'm seeing here is that this is peeling the plastic so I might have to get some tape or something to keep this from peeling any further, because you can see there it's like right below the size of the hook. It's a 5 millimeter. I also did notice that when I've been holding it for a while, now I do kind of hold it further up on the actual hook part than the handle down here, because I've got small hands, is that it was leaving an impression on this part from my thumbs. But otherwise, I really like these hooks. I know that Jennifer from Cinnamon Stitches, she also got a set of hooks from Nice Met, but they were the full metal hooks. So it was one piece as opposed to this is 2 pieces. You can see where the metal, let's see if that'll pick up here. The metal stops right here, and the rest of it is acrylic with some bubbles in it. Like I said, maybe in the future I will get another set of these and probably prep this to be a little bit better with the sizing, because I might I know I got a suggestion of putting some tape over top of it to hopefully so where it wouldn't disappear on me for the sizing. Otherwise I gotta find a sizer to remember what hook size this is. But this one and the 6 millimeter and the 5.5 I'm going to be using in a pattern that I actually created. And that will probably be coming out sometime next month. I'm hoping to start that today. And I've been working on the written pattern as well for it, which will be available on my merch site. It will not be a free pattern because it's taken a little bit longer to design. But I'm not going to make it that expensive. So if you want to get the written pattern when I actually get that out to you guys, I'll have that available at the same time as well. This, again, like I said, this was a 4-weight. This is a 3-weight DK. I got this yarn from a local yarn shop, and I know I have the label here somewhere, but I don't know exactly where it's at. So I don't remember what yarn it is. I think it was Oh, it's a popular one that you can find at local yarn shops. Oh my gosh, and now my mind's blank. If I think of it, I'll tell you in the comments or in the description what this yarn was. I'm not cutting this off because I want to use this yarn for something else. I just don't know what yet. But that's why I'm saving this. I have plenty of this still, so I cut this one up. Alright, so like I said, this stitch multiple, or the stitch pattern is a one row repeat, so it's great for beginners as long as you know how to single crochet, double crochet, and chain. The only part, yeah, there's chains, besides the starting chain. So I'm going to use this. This is Hobby Lobby's, the big 1 pounder yarn. It's 100% acrylic crafters make. I think that's what it's called. Crafters make, something like that. They always have it on the end cap in the really big skeins. This color was discontinued a few years ago, so I've been kind of using this for tutorials and showing you guys so I can keep using this. The stitch multiple for this pattern is 3 plus 3, and for a swatch I would suggest doing a chain of 21, which I'm going to do now. Again, I'm using a 5, so this is going to be a little bit tighter, like this one is really tight. It's a really like weighted feel to it. So if you want a looser stitch, you can use a 5.5 or 6 millimeter. You know, whatever your favorite hook is, or whatever's recommended by the yarn itself. So I'm going to go ahead and chain up 21. That's a multiple of 6 plus 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, there's 18, which is the 3 times 6, and then we're going to add 3 more, 19, 20, 21. Now, if you're new to crochet, I would suggest using stitch markers. Now, I'm going to use the one that I had in this other sample I had made up for you. Now, I was improvising, so I'll show you how I improvised. If you're short on stitch markers and you want to make sure that you count the first and last stitch, go ahead and mark them. So we're going to mark the one that's right below the one on the hook. I'm going to use this one here. And it's not that I don't have stitch markers, I do. They're just in other projects. Like I have one in the Crochet Society project. I have one in the calendar blanket from Jada and Stitches from 2023. I do believe I left those in there. I have a stitch marker in a lot of different projects right now that I've been working on. So that's why I'm kind of low on stitch markers. But I do have a plastic tapestry needle. And I'm going to show you how I use this. I know it's not really a recommended thing, but in case you don't have stitch markers, but you got a ton of plastic needles, they're not going to hurt you. It's not hurting me. It's not going to make me bleed. I will show you how I use that as a stitch marker. So to start row 1, we're going to put 2 double crochets into the 3rd chain from the hook. So the one that you just marked counts as 1, next one is 2, and into the 3rd we're going to double crochet 2 times. And you can grab both loops if you want to, you don't have to. That's 1, and then 1 more. 2. So the first 2 chains where you marked that 1, does count as a single in the turning chain. So you want to make sure that you mark that one, because it will be used when you come back through on row 2. Okay, so then we're going to skip 2 chains, 1, 2, and we're going to put a single crochet into the 3rd chain, and then we're going to put 2 double crochet into that same chain. And see how this is kind of a little tight, but it's okay. It'll work. Again, you can use whatever hook you like to use. It's perfectly fine. And then we've got 1 single, 1 double, so we need 1 more double there. And that's the end. That's the end for that one. And then we skip 2. Just make sure you're not counting the one that you just worked into. What I like to do sometimes, if I'm not sure, is I will put it down. I'll put my chain down, and I will count back. So that's 1. So this one is going to get a single. I'm sorry of getting ahead of myself, but because I want to make sure that I'm counting the right one after this little cluster. Single crochet, 2 double crochet. Sometimes I'll go back to the end of the chain and count to make sure where it ends. So that's something that you can do if you're new to crochet and you're not sure if you should count this little bump here or skip it. So I'm going to count here. So that's 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So we're skipping 2. So we're skipping this one that's kind of hidden here, and I'll see if I can show you that here. See where it's got the littler bump right here? That we're skipping. We're skipping the next one, and into the next one we're going to put a single crochet. So 1, 2, and into the 3rd one, single crochet. 2 double crochet. That's 1 and 2. Again, this will make it a little closer together and a little bit heavier in the stitch itself. So there's 3 of the repeat. This is the repeat. You skip 2 and crochet into the 3rd. So 1, 2, let me get that up here. 1, 2, and into the 3rd we're going to single crochet. I'm trying to make sure you guys can actually see this. Single, and then 2 doubles, all into that same chain. Okay. And then we skip 2, 1, 2, into the 3rd, single crochet. I have my yarn pulling from the right of me instead of the left of me, so pardon me for that there. Okay. 1 more double crochet. Skip 2 chains again, 1, 2, and into the 3rd. This is going to be the last full repeat of the single crochet, 2 double crochet into the same chain. Okay, we just ended our last repeat. You should have 3 chains left. You're going to skip 2 and put just 1 single crochet into the last chain. And then that completes row 1. Okay. So this is how row 1 will look. And again, you probably will have a little bit looser look to yours than I do. But that is row 1. And it may curl up, it may not. Let's see. There we go. Let me get a little closer. I'm letting it try to focus. Okay. Then to start round 2, which is the start of the repeat round, we're going to chain 2, 1, 2. And again, if you're new to crochet, or if you want to make sure that you're putting your last stitch into the correct chain or stitch, you'll want to make sure to mark this. So what I do, well, what I've been doing, I don't always do this. I usually have 2 stitch markers for this type of pattern, but you can use a plastic needle to mark that. And then turn your work. Okay. And then in the very first stitch, the chain from the single crochet, we're going to place 2 double crochet. There's 1 and 2. And this starts the repeat. We're going to skip the next 2 double crochet, and we're going to, in the single crochet, we're going to single crochet and 2 double crochet into the same stitch. There's double crochet. Or that was single, sorry. Now I'm working on double. 1 double crochet, and we need 1 more. And that completes. That's the end of the repeat. We skip 2 double crochet, single crochet, and 2 double crochet into the next single crochet. All the way down to the very last spot here. So I'm going to go ahead and finish, get down to the end. If you're doing a larger piece, I'll meet you done at the other end. If you're following along with me, I will show, when I get down there, I will show you how to end the row 2. Skip over to the single. One, 2. Okay, we've got 2 more full ones to do here. And that was a single, so we need to put 2 more two doubles in. 1 and 2. Okay, now we're at the last 2 double crochet, 1 single crochet before the end of the row. So we're going to put 1 more repeat, single crochet, 2 double crochet into the next single crochet. Again, if you're using a smaller hook, your stitches will probably be tighter, but if you use a larger hook, your stitches will be a little bit more drapey. Okay, so we just finished our last single crochet, 2 double crochet before the end of the row. So we're going to skip over the 2 double crochet and into the top of the chain 2, which if you marked it, you'll know exactly where it's at. We're going to place 1 single crochet into the chain, the top of the chain 2. Okay, and what I like to do if I'm using a stitch marker is I like to pinch these two loops together, pull out the stitch marker, and then that way I can finagle my hook into those loops. Make sure that you get both loops when you're working the top of the chain. And then yarn over and do your pull through. Sometimes, depending on, like I said, if you're using a smaller hook, it can get kind of tight here. So just be patient. And sometimes I have to do it, pull it through and then redo it. So there's the end of the row. And that's the end of the repeat. So let's go. I'm going to do one more row with you. So we're going to be chaining 2. So chain 1 and 2. I'm not going to place the stitch marker there because I'm not going to do another repeat. But if you were, it's the one right below the one on the hook. Here, I'll just mark it. There we go. And if you want to change colors to kind of break it up, more than welcome to do so. You could do it every 2 rows, every 3, however you want to break up the coloring. You could add variegated yarn to this with the solid that complements the variegated. It is all up to you. Player's choice. Player's choice. All right. So we're on row 3. And again, it's a repeat of row 2. So we chained 2. We turned our work. And we're going to put 2 double crochet into the very first single crochet. 1 and 2. I'm going to skip the next 2 double crochet, double, double, and into this single crochet space. We're going to do 1 single crochet, chain, stitch, single crochet, stitch, blah, 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 and then 2 double crochet. And you'll repeat this all the way down to the end. And the very last stitch will be 1 single crochet, which will be in the top of the chain 2. And I'll show you again when I get down there. That won't take long since I'm just doing a swatch. And I do have my co-host in the background. She's snoring. I don't even know if that's being picked up or not. It might be. Even though my microphone's supposed to be noise canceling, I don't know. It might be picking her up. Might not be. Might just be picking me up. But she's back there sleeping because Daddy's out on his motorcycle. And the other one, her sister, who doesn't always co-host with me, is in here as well on the floor. She doesn't like when Daddy goes out on the motorcycle. Alright. To the next single crochet stitch. 1 single crochet, 2 double crochet. I don't know if anybody calls this something different, but I'm calling it the Tipsy stitch because it kind of leans to one side and the other, depending on which way you're looking at it. So, skip into this one. We're on our last single crochet, 2 double crochet to this single crochet. I'm trying to make sure you guys can see this. So I'm trying to get as close to the camera as I can. Hopefully it's not too bad. Alright, now we're at the end of the row. So I'm going to pinch the chains, the top of the chain 2, remove my stitch marker, plastic darning needle, tapestry needle, and then we're going to place 1 single crochet into this chain. And that's the end. You just keep repeating row 2 until you have the desired height, width that you want. Again, it's a multiple of 3 plus 3, which is a very easy multiple to make blankets. You know, if you use a specific number of stitches, this is divisible by a lot of like 120. You can divide that by 3. So I know that some people like to use a standard stitch starting chain for certain projects that they work on, like blankets and things like that. So, but right, I'm trying to straighten out my yarn here while while you guys are working on that stitch. And if I can find out what other name this might go by, I'll call it, or in parentheses, aka this stitch, so you guys know if you've ever learned it before. And if you have not, great. If you have, awesome. If you have, what have you made with it? Have you made blankets, hats, scarves? What kind of yarn did you use? Because they will look different depending on what type of yarn you use, what hook you use. Because like I said, this is very, very stiff, very close together. It's not bad if you wanted a weighted feel, and it is reversible. It'll look the same on both sides, so it doesn't matter which side you pick to be your primary side if you decide to add a border to something with a border to this stitch. My suggestion would be to do either a double crochet, one row of double crochet or single crochet, and then adding extra rounds to the border to make it unique. Those are easy to me. Those I think are easier to use and then create a different. I'm trying not to roll over my daughter's head because she's like underneath my desk. But yeah, if you ever use this stitch, or if you like this stitch and are going to use it in something, let me know in the comments section. And let me know what you made, what yarn you used. That'd be awesome. I don't know what I know. I think I used the lemon peel for my mother-in-law's blanket. I have not used a stitch yet in a pattern for a blanket or anything, but I might use it because I have the I think it's the Mermaid Bitty Stripes yarn. I think this would look really good with that yarn. I think it would look better if you broke it up, if you're using a solid, to use either white or an alternating color like this one, and it would go really good together. Now this I used was Loops and Threads Impeccable in the color Fuchsia, I do believe. I know I have that label here too because I just saw it when I was looking for the one with the green and purple and blue. Oh, let me see if I can find that. Oh, here it is. Okay. So this is the purple. This was at Ollie's for $1.99. I don't know. Okay, so Loops and Threads sells it for $4.99. Probably maybe a little bit higher than that now, because I got this when I was in Virginia. So this is at least a couple of years old. And I don't know if it was because of the color, but I think that magenta works out perfectly. This could have been a clearance color from Michael's. But yeah, that was this one. This one was Hobby Lobby in the 1 pound skeins of yarn. Crafter's Secret. It's always on the end cap, but I got this when they were doing their 75% off clearance, which I am going to see if I can check that out next month to see if anything is starting to get marked down. I know that they start doing that with, different sections of the store starts way before the yarn usually. And last year I missed out on some of the good ones that were on sale on clearance. They had that rope yarn that I know a few people actually took apart, because you got a lot more yardage when you did that than leaving it as it was, because it was like the I-cord style yarn where they took several different colors or one color and they made it look like an I-cord. I call it rope, but anyway. I'm trying to think here. I'm trying to remember where the heck I put this. Maybe it's in my bedroom. I don't know. But like I said, if I can find out what yarn this was, I will let you know. Either I'll get a picture of it and put it up in the corner, or I will put it in the comment section. So you guys, if you like this yarn, you can look for it. If you have a local yarn shop, you can look for it at your local yarn shop or on another website. This yarn is very... It was a little splitty just when I started working with it, but it wasn't so bad after I had worked a couple rows. But the first row is always a little picky anyways, but so it goes. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. If you like my content and haven't already subscribed, please go ahead and hit that subscribe and then the notification bell so you're always aware of when I put out new content. Until next time, I hope you all stay safe, stay warm or cool, and happy crocheting. Bye-bye.